Hello, friends. Welcome to today's second episode of Black Metal and Brews. Tonight's very special. I'm joined by my co-host, Autumn Zing,
Hi.
Lacey Space Cake. We are going to be speaking with the post-punk band Bootblacks. As I always do, I now have to go get the YouTube link to it spread live because for some reason it's just not charitable enough to give it to me beforehand. So we're going to post this link on Twitter and Facebook. And then we will really get serious about this and start the episode. I realize this may be the first time some of you get to know myself, and some of you know me, but so hopefully this is fun for everybody. We can all have a lovely time tonight. There we go. The link is posted on multiple platforms, and I am now closing out those links so that we can just enjoy YouTube. Hello, hello. Lovely, stormy pandemic evening here. I have a gigantic, lovely, tall boy. You've got
Vino tinto.
a modest, lovely glass of red wine, and we're just going to wait for Bootblacks to join us. They are scattered around different parts of New York as well. I think they had originally planned on all being together, but Tropical Storm Faye had other ideas. So the link to join in here is being spread amongst them as we speak. For now, I'm going to open this. Bootblacks are big fans of Bud Light and similar beers, so I thought I would do the closest thing I could do to meeting them on their level and have something that is unpretentious, affordable, and very drinkable.
Very California too.
Yeah, it's very Californian. They share Californian roots with both of us, although we're all in New York now. This is the first time I've had the lime one. It's very different from.
Oh, really? Is it good?
The tomato one. It won't go well with the wine. But yeah.
I'm garbage.
So, yeah, see what I'm saying?
Great.
I thought it would be like the tomato one with like a hint of lime, not a lime flavored drink.
It has that same experience of when you do the salt on that and then you take a shot of tequila. It just tastes like the aftertaste of that.
It does. Well, here's
I'm the first person.
Hello, Panther.
Hey, what's happening?
Not a whole lot. Welcome. You seem to be the first bootblack to join us.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah. Didn't Allie give the link to you?
Yeah, and also I don't know how to work a computer, so it's like wild.
That's, it's beginner's luck, perhaps.
I think so. Oh, here we go.
I love this.
So
Wow,
that's actually a window in the background. That's the view right now.
Yeah, no wonder you couldn't all be together. You guys are like on a tropical retreat.
Yeah.
They've been drinking Bartles and James all day and just getting roasted on the beach.
We'll just sit like that. All right, now we got big. Okay.
Okay. The gang's all here. Welcome.
Hey.
To honor your.
I heard your introduction.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you very much. Where's my fucking camera? Here we go.
Yeah, no. So this platform, it's weird. It doesn't mirror you. Like, it actually shows it proper.
Oh, that's probably, yeah.
So, like, left is right, and it's weird.
Right. So this is how we look to everybody else, right?
Yeah, no. It's like the first time you hear yourself, like, on a radio or through a microphone.
That's
it's
right.
Really
Yeah, I have to deal with it all the time. It's an awful experience.
I'm really sorry you have to be in a band.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Bands are the worst.
yeah, you sing out of a microphone and you're like, that sucks. Yeah. Well, a little self-deprecating humor there.
Yeah, we're all pretty familiar with that. It's good to see you all. I'm glad that despite the weather, we're all able to be here. Pandemic, there's not a whole lot else to do anyway. So first off, you guys have been around for a while, and I wanted to just kind of get a primer on how you all ended up here, how you got to be musicians in this specific band, because you've all come from, this is not your first rodeo. say.
No.
That is true.
Yeah, it's been a long rodeo.
Yeah. Well, I guess especially split between the four of us. Larry and I are the native New Yorkers, and Allie and Panther met on the West Coast, and there's multiple stories just in that alone.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start?
Oh, sure. I don't know. So I've known Allie for, I guess, 15 or 16 years now. And we met in San Francisco when we both lived there. And yeah, we moved out here together. So we've been in New York City for 11 years now, doing this thing. And wait, what happened? The Brady Bunch got smaller.
Yeah, she decided to opt out, I guess.
Yeah, she quit.
Yeah, maybe my heartfelt story about us meeting bummed her out so hard she had to get out of here. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like 15 years too many.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, 15 years sounds quite depressing. No, I don't know. We just I've known Allie for a very long time. We used to actually play in a band many years ago called the Holy Kiss.
You guys are great. Good to see
And,
you.
sorry?
I used to see you play in San Francisco. You're great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I knew Maddie.
Yes. Wow. Okay, that's how do you feel about that? That seems like another lifetime ago. I mean, actually,
it literally was another life ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to speak about that band because it wasn't really our band. It was kind of a weird situation where, like, it was Nick Ott and this guy Matty Rue's band, and Allie and I were kind of hired guns for that band. So we kind of met each other through, I don't know, sort of happenstance that way. But yeah, I don't know. It was a great experience. I would say that was the first kind of professional band that I was in, if that could even be something. Rather, do tours and things like that. Actually, Nick Ott's in Houses of Heaven now with Kevin. So, anyways, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, we've been at this Bootblacks thing for, I guess, 2010. Long time.
That's a long time.
You're a decade in.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess to varying degrees, right? So I don't know if it was always, I don't know, full on. You know what I mean? I don't know, like, sort of level of commitment we had in the early days.
I don't know. I mean, me being here in New York, I heard of you guys almost immediately, which was interesting. Just through a lot of, we ended up having a lot of mutual friends from the West Coast and everything, a lot of transplants that had already been here. So I guess they kind of hit the ground running. I remember doing a show like as a guest spot with another band, and Bootblacks were on the bill. It was probably only your second or third show ever, maybe. And, and it was I've told this story a few times now, but I think it's funny, and I think it's worth cementing on the internet forever. But it was weird because I had never met Panther before. I didn't know who Panther was, and people were coming up to me at that show before they even went on and played or anything, and they were asking me if I was Panther.
Really?
They were just kind of like, "Oh, are you Panther?" And I was like, "What?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That sounds like a bad code for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and after I met him, I was like, okay, this tall, handsome guy. I was like, I could see.
Keep it coming, Barry. Keep it coming. Tell the story. Yeah.
So, I guess you actually you still had the black hair back then too. Yeah. So that helped also. And
you had a mustache, right?
Oh, it was curly. It was evil. Yeah. Yeah, villainous.
Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah, Snidely.
Yeah, but
yeah, it was
people
funny.
Still were related all the time. So.
Yeah, I mean, Swedish guy, Cuban guy. I mean, obviously.
Spinning image.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I can't tell you apart right now on the.
No, me neither. I'm looking at the bottom screen and wondering who's talking. It's sort of having like a disassociative moment right now.
I'm trying to move my mouth at the same time as you.
Yeah.
It's like you had to grow the beard to distinguish yourself.
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to break out my own identity away from Barrett. It's suffocating the relationship. Wait, did I even answer that question? I don't think I did.
I mean, you mentioned that you and Allie met doing the Holy Kiss, and you came out here, and you've been doing this for 10 years, but obviously it's taken different incarnations, degrees.
Yeah.
So I know,
sort of like my hair color, facial hairstyle. It's all sort of like tracking along.
Always
you got to establish the thing like how Bowie had like a distinct look for each year of his career. You're just doing it right.
Yeah, well, I'll take that. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's sort of a weird band to speak about because I feel like that we've kept the name for a long time, but in a lot of ways, like looking back when we first moved here, the first record, or other things that we've done, it's almost like a different band in a lot of ways for me, at least. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me to speak about the band as a sort of cohesive thing because it really hasn't been. I think some bands kind of know right away what they want to do or what they're after and have a really kind of tight, distinct aesthetic sound. But for me personally, it's just been kind of a weird journey because I think if anyone were to listen to records, it's just sort of like everyone gets a spy in my life about, I don't know, what I was thinking in the moment. So, or, and we've had lots of different members that have, contributed creatively along the way too. So, yeah, it's always weird for me to talk about it as, I don't know, it's been kind of the name's been kind of the only thing that's been consistent really over the years. So, and I guess, in a way that's good, right? Because it's been something evolving and different over time. I hope.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that attracted me to the band to begin with was its constant evolution. And I remember just from the beginnings of the band to the first EP, and like there was just drastic shifts in sound, and I like that a lot. I like, I felt like there's always this constant feel, and it all fits together in a weird way, but just very different. And with the addition of synth, and then the addition of more electronic bass and stuff, it just kept changing. And I guess Panther and Allie are the anchors, and everybody else comes in, and the sound changes a little bit, and then changes a little bit more. And Allie's guitar has definitely been consistent throughout, so I think that's kind of the main hook there to bring people in. And I've seen Panther evolve as a vocalist like tremendously, and I think that's why this band is exciting to be in, for me at least, is that there's no rules. We just bring whatever we want to the table, and everybody's usually like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, it's fun. It's just fun.
Is the songwriting a democracy? Are you all involved, or does somebody just bring something to the table and you just add?
It's complete democracy. Everybody we all write together. We all build it together. I mean, the only thing, Panther's lyrics, that's the only thing that we just leave to him, and he does his thing, but everything else is on the table,
Yeah, I think the goal is to build a song. So I don't know. I think the music writing should be in service to the song. So however that originates, that's okay with me. And I think we just try to mix interesting things. And if some people have ideas, then we should do that. Yeah, it's always been a democracy, 100%. So.
And I think that's what adds to the band sounding the way it does. Is we all come from different backgrounds and we have different influences and everything. So it's just a giant melting pot. And
yeah, and there's definitely no conception of what we want to do before either. So I think, rather than try to write an industrial song or boss song or punk song, we just sort of, if we like it. I mean, if something succeeds or fails, it's just because we're picking something that we think is interesting. So, and hopefully it is. And I think that, there's been times where maybe it hasn't always been as successful as we wanted it to be, but I'm proud of the risk that we've taken as a band. So, right, Alex?
No, I mean, honestly,
right here, buddy. Here we go.
We'll do things that like you're like, what? Like we could never do a song like that, and yet somehow it always ends up like fitting somehow. So it's fun to not have any boundaries.
So I wanted to ask, with that, I noticed that today you unveiled a new playlist after I made a comment about you not having this year's playlist yet, which is perfect timing. I was so grateful for that. I noticed you had the first band I ever saw without my parents was Sick of It All, and you put that in the playlist. I'm wondering when you're going to do a hardcore.
Well, that's Larry's wheelhouse for sure. Yeah. I think we've all dabbled in hardcore, but Larry's the real guy there. So that's a question for him. I mean, I don't know, Larry. You want to do a Sick of It All cover? What do you want to do?
We can
get those blast beats going.
Again, no rules.
I mean, yeah. Maybe that could be my next look. I could get some hoodies. No, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even want to speak on it very much, but Larry, he's an OG hardcore guy.
Born and bred.
Yeah. He grew up in New York, in the whole scene, the CBs and everything. So it's cool. I was glad that he threw some stuff like that in because it really we're diverse. We have diverse influences, and I mean, anyone who knows us and looked at that was like, oh, cool. Larry threw some songs on the playlist. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's nice. You're not just coming from like a bunch of people that like post-punk trying to make a post-punk song. It sounds like these 5 post-punk bands. That's really, you can tell when that happens, and it's almost always derivative.
Yeah, I'll be
honest. They're much more successful than us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I like post-punk a lot, but I don't know if that's the only thing that I care about. You know what I mean? And I think some people are really immersed in a sort of aesthetic or musically or whatever, but that's not super interesting to me. So I don't know. I think, like I said, I'm glad that everybody brings what they're interested in to the table. So, and I also, even that means that I play with it. Got Cro-Mag in there. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, it's crackling.
Yeah.
We have fire happening? Like, what is that?
There's some strange noises happening.
I think it's another radio station trying to break in.
Yeah.
We could have an unplanned visitor here.
A rival band.
Yeah, I think it's the government watching the movie. So.
Not us.
Yeah.
All right, IT guy, get on this. What kind of
I know. It's coming out now.
One of these days, I'll have the funding to hire somebody to fix these things. But so another thing that I noticed on your playlist was something I wanted to discuss the impact of the pandemic, and you had the band Modern English on there, who you were supposed to tour with this summer. Obviously, that is delayed. To me, that was such a huge thing for you guys to be able to hit the road with a band of that stature. How have you been handling the pandemic, and what are you doing to change course in whatever ways you have to?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think the entire music industry is completely disrupted. I don't even have any idea about when live shows will come back. In this, I mean, I don't even know when people are going to eat indoors at restaurants. So, yeah, I mean, I have no idea, and I don't think actually anybody has any idea. I thought in the beginning of February that, or end of February, early March, whenever this kind of started going, I thought, well, I mean, by summer it'll be okay or whatever, but totally unprecedented. And unfortunately, music seems to be probably the absolute last, or live music anyways, the absolutely last thing to come back. So I don't know. It's all uncharted territory for everybody, and I think every person that I know that plays music, I mean, it's kind of an unanswerable question. I think like the upside to this has been that I know that music sales have been up, and I know a lot of bands, including us, it seems a lot of people are buying music because that's kind of the only way you can consume it now. So that's kind of nice because I think, records have suffered through the kind of, growing pains of the internet and technology and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's kind of nice that people are appreciating musicians and music that way. But as far as like going on tour and what that means anymore, like I have no idea. I don't even. I don't know. Are people going to be weird? Like even
It's gonna be so weird. Yeah.
People getting into a room together. I don't know. Like, is it gonna? It's totally unanswerable to me. I have no idea, and I have a lot of anxiety about it because I mean it's obviously something I love to do. So I don't know. We'll see. It's something that I think about every day, and I talk to people about on a constant basis, and it seems like there's no answer. So hopefully soon. I don't know.
Do you remember your last show you played?
Yeah, I think that was actually in Vancouver, right? We played at the
Seattle
Fox
Festival.
Theater in Vancouver with Actors in October. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's the longest I haven't played a show in a, I don't know.
Oh.
It was definitely Allie.
Yeah, I feel like
I think
they've
we've established that now.
I feel like it's a feedback actually. The
Yeah,
volume is too high.
it was them for sure.
It happens.
They'll figure it out. I think they realized. I think that's why they dropped off.
Yeah, I mean, when they come back, I'll just ask them to mute their mic when they're not speaking, and that should fix it. So I also wanted to ask about. So usually when you meet your doppelganger, you're supposed to destroy them, but you guys instead opted to befriend.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, for one,
you're assuming I haven't tried to destroy him, which is not totally.
I mean, I don't know.
No.
Some of us have chaotic friendships like that, but
Yeah,
I'm curious about your friendship with Actors and when you're going to just become one band Bootblacks.
Well, I mean, I think that the reason people are sometimes we show each other a lot of love and we're heavily associated, and that's really okay with me because I think that it's kind of a rare thing, especially now, or I don't know, that bands have like a community. I feel like there's, and this is not because people are bad, but we've kind of come into this culture where people are kind of out for themselves or, jealous or interested in their own things. And I would always look back at like historical times or bands that I admired, and I'd always see them hanging out and doing things together. And I always really admired that. And I always kind of thought, even though there is a bit of a scene, it didn't feel that communal. At least, I mean, I might be totally wrong because I wasn't alive then or I wasn't present, but it always seemed a lot more like there was camaraderie and people were kind of building each other up. And I feel like there was never, in my lifetime, that much of a scene like that. And so when we met Actors, it was kind of wonderful because they shared the same mentality where they're just like, yeah, let's lift each other up. And it was so weird to meet other people that were interested in that, like, sort of like, being competitive, but also being associated. So it's pretty. I find it really great to have that kind of friendship and other things with them, and it's a creative thing as well, right? So it's funny because I think we get teased about it a little bit sometimes, but I'm okay with that because I don't know. I think it's rare, to have that sort of kind of creative camaraderie.
It's rare enough to be in a band with 3 other people, let alone meet another band of 4 other people that you can just get along with and go on tour with, and just like, your family, and you don't even you see each other playing every night, and it never gets old. You just, we when we're on tour, we share Airbnbs together, like we're having breakfast together. It's like it's just always fun, and they have the same mentality as well, as far as creatively about,
Creativity.
I'm like,
They also pronounce that word that way as well. That's why we got along. So.
it's
Yeah.
that's the Canadian accent coming through. That
Yeah, right. That's the Canadian pronunciation.
You learned it so well.
Yeah, well, it is a nice camaraderie that we have with them, and obviously, Jason especially, he produced our new album, and we flew out to Vancouver to work with him on it, and he got it. He saw us live every night, and he knew what we were trying to get, and he was like, I'm gonna capture it, and his creative input is definitely, his DNA is all over that record, and we're thankful to him, and we're looking forward to getting back on the road at some point with them, and they're family for sure.
Yeah, I think also it's just a thing of like, he appreciates the thing that we were kind of talking about before, where I don't know, we're just not really interested in being just a straight post-punk band, and I think he appreciates that too. He has a similar worldview or whatever, and so yeah, it's nice. And all the internet love fest, I'm okay with it, because I think that especially in this genre, people can be very serious, and so
Too serious.
very, very serious. And I think like that is cool, but I think the market saturation for very serious is oversaturated. So
Yep.
I rather, I don't, I think
The music can be
it's okay to
serious.
show some love and have a sense of humor if you do post punk. I can get an army jacket and smoke a cigarette in a graveyard with just like anybody else, but I mean, it's okay. We can just have some fun.
And we do.
And be depressed. It's possible to do that at the same time. So, yeah.
How do you guys feel about New York audiences? Like when we're talking about, they're a little serious here. Like I find that Europe, it's a little bit more fun, and
No, there's some serious. No, well, I think it has less to do with. I mean, compared to European audiences, maybe, but there's still places in Europe that are very serious, and I would say that they're probably the analogous places to New York. So Berlin is serious.
Oh, God.
Serious. So I feel like any sort of if you're a large city where people desire to live in you, that sounds weird, but I don't know. I think if you're a crowded, popular city, I think that part of what comes along with that is that you kind of have the pick of the litter with most everything that you do in your life. So there's a lower threshold. But I don't know. I feel like New York City's made me way tougher, because to get anyone to dance here or smile or seem like they had a good time, if that's achievable, it is the trope. You can make it anywhere, right? So I feel like when we go to smaller places in Europe or in the U.S., they seem kind of blown away by all the energy we have and how like adversarial we seem towards the crowd. It's because we're used to people being like, we don't care about you, so like entertain us, right? So I think it's actually like it's a good workout. You know what I mean? Like you're sort of training with weights here, and then when you go other places, it seems kind of easy.
But it is a total exchange of energy, you know. And Ben, actually, we've had this discussion before, but like, I remember it was probably my first or second show with the band, and you were there, right in the front, dancing your face off, and I was like, "This guy's into it." And like,
That's a weird question coming from you guys. You guys are like the most.
Yeah,
you guys are the
and
best.
I love that. Like, I feed off of that tremendously. Like, when I see people jumping up and down, going like, yeah, it's a totally different feel for us up there. So, thank you for that. Is basically what I'm getting at.
Well, now I know I have to make you work for it a little more. So that's good information.
Also, too, when you do music, because we do music, like I know when I'm playing a show, I want to see people dancing. So when I go to a show, I'm gonna fucking dance. Like it just seems rude to just.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the same way. Yeah. Like, why are you there if you're not there?
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm gonna.
And I mean, and I'm not saying that everybody has to do that, because everybody, you know, some people don't want to dance. Some people just, they listen and they're, you know, admiring the light show or whatever. They just want to see it. That's fine. But like, there's a difference between that and arms folded, like, you know.
Or having a conversation at the back.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The worst is having a conversation at the front, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wait.
definitely true.
There's a story there, isn't there, Panther, with somebody having a conversation right in the front with like their phone or something? Wasn't there a show where you were just like, oh, hello?
The way that like I don't know, it is pretty crazy that people just pop the phone out. So a lot of times we've had shows where people are on the phone. I'll just get off the stage and like get on the phone with them. Right? Or be like, oh yeah, check it out or whatever, you know. But I do find the phone as a pretty good litmus test to see if we're boring or not. The more phones that are out, like something has to happen, you know. So I see it as a challenge, and not to take a photo, obviously, but like, you know, someone just on the phone. So yeah, I've been confrontational with a couple people, especially if they're in front just on their phone and I can see them doing it. Then I mean, I don't know what else I have to do. I'm like, I'm on an elevated surface with a, you know, couple 1,000-watt sound system blasting in your face, and you're still like, no, I can't handle it. You know what I mean? Like, still not enough for me to be here. So I don't know. So I don't. It doesn't make me angry. I just sort of maybe, yeah, okay, fine, let's do it. Maybe I'll
take the physical challenge.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So, but yeah, it is a weird thing. And I think we've all been in the situation, too, of being at a concert, of watching a concert through another human being's phone, which is an insane experience because nobody watches those videos. Like, not even the people that are making them. You don't go in your phone and watch a blurry video and be like, wow, that was a moment of my life. Like, no, nobody does that. Like, it's I don't know, but there's some paranoia about capturing every experience now or something like that.
Like we knew we were going to be trapped inside indefinitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they were watching.
Like if it's not on the phone, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Like now, I think I've gone back and looked up things.
I know, that was a good moment.
Like my favorite, you know, it's just like I'm like, but I used to have the compulsion, you know, as somebody who has like a, you know, a media focused audience of probably 5 people, you know. I used to feel more of an obligation, and then I was like, oh yeah, but it's diminishing my fun. So, you know, I would take a picture maybe or a quick video, you know, simply to document it for the handful of people that cared, but it took me out of it. And I think also seeing confrontational bands helped that. Like, it's funny, 'cause you mentioned that. The last band that I did a Skype type thing with all of the members of the band, and this was couple years ago, but it was Oxbow, who are possibly the most confrontational band on earth. If you're not,
yeah.
So I kind of appreciate that you.
Well, it's also like
I think you're stripping naked and fighting people, but you know.
No, but it also
has to be.
The function of the record is to listen to it at home. Like it just like I realized, I think my learning curve with this stuff was, you're like, hey, I went to this great show last night, and you play it for someone else. It's just this blurry crap mess of like overblown static. And it's like, no, it did. And there's not a single person that's ever been like, wow, that looks great. It's just like, it's like you had to be there. So the more you realize you have to be there, then just be there. I mean, also, I shouldn't not encourage people to take photos, because people take great photos. So I'm not against that. I'm just kind of saying, like,
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge
it's a weird
difference
vibe to check an
between,
email, you know?
if a band is playing an hour, hour and a half, whatever set, however long their set is, it's one thing to take a quick shot, take a 20-second video, whatever. You want to have a little memento, that's fine. But the people that are just standing there the whole show, I'm like, what are you doing?
Megan.
I have a picture somewhere of a person's phone looking into an iPad, looking into the show. I was like, wild.
Inception.
Yeah, Inception. There you go. Yeah.
I've definitely taken the picture of picture at a show.
Yeah.
See the stage really well through those.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe that's the future of music now, because, like I said, you can't get together in spaces. So I don't know. I don't know people like these virtual shows. Does it still satisfy the same need to be in a room together, right? I don't think so.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy seeing bands doing something like, but I wonder for people who are not, for some of us, and this is, I'm not putting a judgment value here. It's just different associations with music. And if you have a personal interest in seeing the musicians excel and thrive just as much as you do in having a good time, it's really exciting. Like, I've watched a couple of quarantine live shows and, bought a couple things that were like to help bands through this, because I thought, okay, this is cool, it helps artists. But I wonder for people who just like to go to a show to, drink some beers and have a great time out, I don't think that this comes close.
Right.
That's good that it doesn't come close, because it means that the live shows do serve a purpose and that it won't be replaced, hopefully, after the pandemic is.
Right. I think there's a place for it for sure. I mean, like, you think about how many people live in remote places and they're nowhere near a major city and they can't get to a concert or whatever. It's nice for them to at least be able to see something of a band that they like, for, whatever. I don't think it could ever possibly 100% replace the live experience. I mean, that's impossible. But, it's the same thing. We have a lot of DJ friends who have all these DJ nights, and now they're all on Twitch doing DJ streams. Yeah. And, like, you see the chat rooms, and that's exactly kind of the sentiment is like, oh, I was never able to get to one of your nights, so it's so nice to be able to see you DJing and be in the chat room, and I feel like I'm there. And, it's I guess it's for those people that, like, maybe they wanted to come to a party in New York, but they're in Spain or something like that. So, yeah. It's cool for that, but it's got to be, like, in addition to. It's not one or the other. It's
a supplement.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something, and you guys know intimately that New Order's Blue Monday is pretty much the only song that you need to have a thriving goth scene and a good dance night.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's basically what I've been telling DJs for. I mean, I'm not a DJ, but I should be, because
you have your finger on the pulse.
And that rule, yeah, and that's all there really is in life, is just Blue Monday.
The second that distant drum beat kind of creeps in, it's like you're gonna just lurk your way.
It's party time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I imagine I'll be, once this is over, at Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, Madison Square Garden, etc., playing Blue Monday. I understand. This is the only song that people need to play, and I'm glad you're on board.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not just it's not a genre song. It's a dance song. It's rockers like it, goths like it. It's not I mean younger folks got reintroduced to it through new metal with Orgy covering it. Everybody's got an angle on it. It's great. It is. Blue Monday.
No, that's why I'll play it twice, 3 times, 6 times a night. You know what I mean?
They gotta understand.
Yeah,
You gotta make them understand.
it's the only song that matters. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely watched DJ friends get drunk and play the same song 3 times in the night. But yeah, no, it's like if you're,
That's all I do, though, right?
it's a great way to live.
Thank you.
Point proven.
I kind of wonder what people are doing though, like, because isn't the part of the exciting part about going out the danger, right? Like, who are you going to meet? Are you going to dance? Are you going to drink too much? That can't be going on at home.
Maybe for some people.
Yeah,
I know some.
Yeah, respect. Yeah,
had more hangovers during pandemic than they did before.
So you're doing it right. You're doing it right then.
Keep it up.
Allie is like silent, but the most chaotic portion of this.
I know. I
whole
can't keep
chat.
my eyes on them. Can Allie hear it?
It's sort of the unfolding drama over there. You don't know what's going to happen.
Larry in the conservatory with the candlestick.
There's like a 0% chance there's not a delay right now.
Allie, I wanted to ask you about who your. Allie, I wanted to know about your guitar heroes and your inspiration. I think you're one of my favorite guitar players. I know it's hard for women to be taken seriously. I just want to know who inspires you. It's true. Your sound is so good. Your tone is so good. What?
Yeah, you have audio. We hear you.
We have audio. Oh
Yes.
God! Thank God. That's really nice of you.
I'm glad you could hear me. I was worried that you weren't hearing anything.
I have a pretty. I don't know. I think I have a pretty varied, batch of influences, but I think I don't know. I mean, I came from parents who listen to the things that parents listen to, that like all the classic rock stuff, whatever. The first thing that I think kind of blew my mind in high school was Jane's Addiction, and that was sort of like my gateway drug into everything that I like now. Because they actually actively cited Bauhaus and Susie, and so I had to go find out who those people were, of course, and then my mind was blown even more. So it's like, I don't know, I think it's a mishmash of like guitar-y bands that are like impressive guitar players, and then people who don't know how to play guitar at all, but like have all heart, and so somewhere in there, like I found my little home, I guess.
It's such a distinct sound, which I think is hard to do sometimes with guitar players. Like they'll sound exactly like another, but yours it's yours. It's like, Ben, I think you were playing something. I knew immediately it was you guys because of your guitar.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you hear my high school band, it was like, I want to sound like this. Wait, now I want to sound like this. Like somehow I found a way to meld the stuff.
Have you had to deal with a lot of obstacles with men, like being in music?
Yeah, I mean, well, when I was in high school, I lived in Kentucky, and there were so many shows we played where, like, after we played, some dude would be like, "Damn, you play good for a chick," and like, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, for the most part, people have been really cool. I've always played with guys that are really respectful and awesome to me, and I've always felt respected, like as a songwriter. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you always get like some rando at every show that wants to like How does a girl play guitar like that? You know, I always like to give it that accent. Sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I think for the most part, I get treated well. I get treated with respect.
Thank you. Sorry, I know we're on a delay, so I'm trying to acknowledge the time.
Yeah.
And so since we're talking, I also realized we haven't acknowledged what everybody's role is in the band. But Barrett, your story is really interesting to me. So
It
you,
is.
it is. You told me a little bit because I'm a curious person. You were a drummer before you began playing synthesizers, and
Yeah.
I was curious, first off, and you've told me, but obviously I know people watch this. How did you, make the transition to playing something so unrelated? And are there any skills that you developed intuitively as a drummer that have transferred over to the way you approach synths?
Absolutely. The story basically goes, I was a drummer from elementary school up to maybe about 5, 6 years ago. Just always play the drums, but I always like to dabble in just any instrument. If there's an instrument laying around, I'll pick it up and mess around with it just because I just love playing anything. But my mother was a concert pianist, and so there was a piano in the house growing up, and I always loved to hear her play. And she gave me some lessons, but it was very rudimentary lessons. And I it was always kind of in the back there somewhere. Even though I was drumming for years and years, there was just something about playing, the keys that, I mean, it is a percussive instrument, so it kind of makes sense. You're just banging on something, right? And instead of drums, it's keys. So the last band I was in was a more electronic sounding band. We didn't have a live drummer. That wasn't the goal of that band. Originally, it was just to write music, put music out, and it was more just to produce music. So that's kind of when I started playing synth, and we had a good reaction, so we did end up playing some shows. And I just remember the first time playing synth on stage, it was a completely different feel. I'm sure Larry can attest, being a drummer, obviously, that when you're a drummer, you're just thinking about drumming constantly. That's it. You're propelling the song forward. That's your job, 100%. And I found that being a synth player, you get that interaction with the crowd a little more, and I liked to just kind of add the atmosphere. I like to flesh it out, as Ali likes to say. I throw a little paprika on there, just
That's the Bootblacks spice, paprika.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I found that I really enjoyed it a lot more than I ever thought that I would have, and it just kind of worked out that way. That when I met the band, Panther was doing synth in the band on stage and everything, and he was like, you know what, I just want to be a front man. And my band was imploding at the time, and the timing was just perfect, and they graciously invited me into their ranks. And I've had a blast. I mean, it's not ever anything that I envisioned myself doing, but I can't imagine not doing it now. So that's was that basically how I explained it to you?
Yeah, I mean, you also mentioned that you had started remixing music and so on long before, but I think that's interesting, the transference from one instrument to another. I mean, I basically barely know how to play the one instrument I play, and I play the bass poorly. I had to learn it, and I've been trying to pick up guitar because we're in lockdown, and it's even though it's like so similar, it's so not the same. And I feel like the strings are too close together and there's too many of them. I don't know what I'm doing. But so it's interesting hearing somebody go from one instrument to another and just the way they transfer. I'm always intrigued by that, at least.
Yeah, I think you just go with what makes you feel good, right? I mean, that's really the bottom line. A lot of people ask me, do I miss drumming or things like that? And honestly, I don't. It's kind of weird. I mean, obviously we have an amazing drummer in our band, and I have absolutely no interest in doing what he does because he does it a million times better than I ever did. So I just love being on the stage with him and just kind of looking back every so often and going, God damn, what's going on? So that's it, it's fun to it's almost like, you know, looking like pulling yourself out of your own body and just going, oh fuck, like yeah, it's fun. It just allows me to have more fun on stage and interact a little more and yeah, it's cool.
No, that's interesting. Thank you. And on that note, Larry, do you feel that you aren't able to connect with the crowd? I mean, like, how is that for you? Because I always imagine that being a drummer is a very invigorating experience in its own way, but I've never done that. What is it like for you drumming in this band, and does it differ from any of the others?
I don't know. We're a little like out of the loop because we couldn't hear Barrett for like the last 5 minutes.
So, okay, Barrett was
Larry. That's fine. We're used to tuning him out.
But this is why this bothers me, because I hope Barrett can hear me, because I want to ask you all something. Have you guys seen the show The Expanse?
No, should we?
Tell us about it.
Talk about it.
On Sci-Fi? Oh my god.
TV. Oh, okay.
Such
Okay.
a great show.
How many seasons?
Yeah. It's
Larry, your passion for drumming is unbridled. That was a great answer. Drumming.
Well, with all this time off, all I'm doing is like rereading like sci-fi books and stuff, and I'm just so excited for like sci-fi stuff coming out, like Dune, which is probably not going to be in theaters, and Foundation, Isaac Asimov's Foundation. They made that into a series.
I didn't know
Dang.
that. That's gonna rule.
You're having the best life ever right now. It's just all sci-fi.
I like to binge watch stuff, and now that it's all sci-fi that's coming out, I'm just like, oh yes, let this go on forever.
It might.
Now, are you a sci-fi book reader as well? Any recommendations?
But it's funny. It's fun because so much of the subject matter in those books is coming to be in this dystopia that we're in right now.
So the screen.
Yeah.
That's why
So Larry, the Scream
I
of
just
Black.
find the parallel between like real life.
Larry, the Scream of Blank for like 45 seconds. How's the show on Sci-Fi?
Yeah, it's just
I didn't
cutting
catch
out
that
a little bit here and there.
It's so good. So wait, are you not familiar with the story? No one's as familiar with it.
No.
No.
Tell us.
I can't hear anybody again.
It's especially funny
So it
that
takes
like I
place
spent
100
about
years in the
5
future
minutes
where we
talking about
colonize
how
Mars
awesome Larry was as a
and
drummer,
most
and he
of the
didn't hear it
asteroid
at all.
belt. Of course, because it's all humans, they've all split off into these factions: the Earth, Mars, and the asteroid. Like people who live in the belt, the Belters.
Yeah.
And it's very like how would you could associate it to like Earth and Mars being like the two superpowers, like U.S. and Russia, and the belt is like the proxy war, like Afghanistan, Vietnam, something like that. But it's very interesting, and it's very real. It's like, you know, it's not Star Warsy. It's like, yeah, you could die in a second out here.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like shots were just fired.
I mean, I don't know what. There's nothing wrong with Star Wars.
Well, I missed it.
Well, my computer keeps going out, but I'm gonna have to get the full review from Larry.
Are we going down that
I'm
road?
very
Is
interested.
that where we're going?
No, you'll like it.
I guess.
You'll definitely appreciate it too.
Okay,
I just came
all right.
Barrett. I know he probably has seen it or knows about it.
How about now?
He still can't hear.
Maybe we should try to go get a better signal. We're gonna be back.
Barrett.
I love it that he throws a jab at Star Wars and then dips out, saying he can't hear.
But the gauntlet has fallen. Well, I do think it was pretty funny that I was going on and on about
No,
Larry being an awesome drummer, and he's
I
like,
think
I
it's
didn't hear a
incredible.
word Barrett just said, but have you seen The Expanse?
I know. That was so good.
Yeah.
I also don't.
Oh,
I'm
wait, now I
wondering.
think we lost Panther.
I'm wondering what he's thinking.
Panther.
Okay, here he
Here we
comes.
There we go. Hi, Panther.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone now.
Jeez. I guess everybody has Optimum.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all just operating on one Wi-Fi here.
Mhm. Like all New York has the one Wi-Fi.
The one hotspot.
Yep, the one hotspot. We're
Jeez.
all using it.
Yeah, now
Well,
it's about prime time, so everybody's dipping out because everybody's
Everyone's like-
watching stuff.
Yeah, they're all like downloading that
That's
sci-fi
the
thing.
they actually left to watch The Expanse.
Yeah.
well,
All right.
oh, I know what I have to put on my
Here's
DVR
Panther.
now.
Yeah. Sorry,
There he
guys. Sorry, I had to dip out and watch that show Larry was talking about for a second.
Yeah, that's what we thought you were doing.
You know, I'm really sorry. I don't want any unverified reviews on this thing. So,
Yeah, that wasn't a banned statement that we all like the show because we all haven't seen it. So
right, yeah.
give us some time to catch up and
Oh,
Yeah.
now I can hear
This is
better.
better, right?
There we are.
Yeah.
We can hear you guys, Allie and Larry. If you can hear us, that's wonderful.
Yeah, you're way clearer now too.
You look
You know,
beautiful.
I think that strong
Sorry
beat
about that.
breeze was fucking with their internet. I think that's what it was. Right?
Yeah, we
it was
need
all
a little
that
bit less
it was all that
tropical.
static between Mars and Jupiter.
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
Love it. Have you seen it? I didn't hear from you.
No, I didn't.
You know of the show though.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, are you
So,
paid by them?
no, it's just very.
I mean, is
Ben-
it the part where
Ben
we
had
start
asked
talking
you
about Bud Light or something? Or
So Larry,
If you want to know anything
drums
about
and
drumming,
bootblacks, I think.
ask
Maybe.
Barrett. If you want to know about the show, Larry's your man.
I love it. So
Go
basically, Barrett had spent a couple minutes giving a glowing description of your drumming, and then he
Oh.
said, "I can't hear anything Barrett said."
He was
Have you watched The
waiting for
Expanse?
you.
We couldn't hear
Okay.
anything the whole time. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. No, it was great.
no, it was good comedy. Good comedy.
Oh, okay.
So, Larry, do you like playing the drums? Is the question?
Yeah, after 30 years,
Yeah.
it's growing on me.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Is your lot in life?
Yeah, I think it was basically like, what is it like being our drummer, as opposed to other bands that you've been in?
Yeah.
But feel free to talk about the show if you'd like as well.
Do you watch The Expanse while you drum? Is that what you were trying to get at?
I wish I could. It's so great. But I wouldn't be able to because by the time we start playing again, I'll have gone through all the seasons, so there'll be nothing to watch.
Oh.
So how do you like playing drums and bootblacks?
It's wonderful.
I'll be honest. I've
That's
heard.
it?
You know, yeah. I mean, the show. What is the show?
What? Expanse?
So even, dude.
Yeah.
I would
What
say.
is it?
Where are you?
It's
Where are
sci-fi.
Right. What's the show?
Wait, you talking to me again?
Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah.
Oh, The Expanse?
The Expanse.
You didn't hear the title? The Expanse.
No.
That's really good.
Because we've expanded out into the solar system.
Right. Okay.
We've left Earth.
Yeah, check it out. It's great. If you have Amazon.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. It almost seems like Larry works for the Sci-Fi Network,
Yeah.
No.
and I'm the one that
I
works
wish I
in
did. Oh my
television.
God.
Yeah, this is starting to feel
That'd
like
be
paid
great.
advertisement, Larry. I
Hook me
think
up,
you're a
Barrett.
shell for the sci-fi company.
Did you know that I wrote the Walking
Sci-fi
Dead?
company? That's not whatever.
So while we're talking TV, I had a burning question about you folks and programs, and if each of you was a member of the cast of the Muppet Show, who are you and why?
Oh my God.
And you can designate for other members of the band, Chaos Rain.
No, I know the answer to this already. At least for Panther and I, we're Statler and Waldorf.
That's right.
Okay.
Boom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, we're
And Allie and Larry are
Beaker's in that.
Beaker.
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 Beaker, yeah.
He goes meet
Yeah,
I'd like to be Beaker.
Beaker.
that makes me a
You'd be
professor
Beaker?
then, I guess.
Yeah.
no. I thought you'd be Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, and
Well, maybe the two of us pick one.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be
I
Beaker.
have the glasses, so
Yeah.
I'm the doctor.
is there an ice cream man going
It
on?
is. Who's getting ice cream?
It's a
Larry, is
clock.
that what you tell people? I have glasses, so I'm a doctor. Is that what you walk around the streets? They're like,
It's worth.
you're like,
every
hey,
time.
yeah. I like that
Step into my
self-actualization there. Oh, you gotta trust him. He's wearing glasses.
He's not a doctor, but he plays one on TV.
Yeah, he's not a doctor, but he does
Trust
wear
me.
glasses. So
I'm a doctor. I have glasses.
yeah,
I thought I told
yeah,
Trust me, I have vision issues. I know what I'm talking about.
yeah. You guys are watching Expanse, and you're like, "Who's the doctor?" It's the guy with the glasses, obviously.
Yeah.
Even in the future.
Um,
So yeah,
You guys don't care about his musical trajectory.
yeah, no, and we touched on that a little bit with the Holy Kiss, but I think Panther in Bootblacks. I know you played the Sims. Did you play the bass in Bootblacks initially as well? Because I know you played bass in the Holy Kiss.
No, I played bass that was my primary instrument before Bootblacks. So
Okay.
yeah,
How
so
did you make that? That's a pretty big jump from bass to
I kind
synth
of pushed
to.
him, I think.
yeah, you're telling. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, first of all, I love playing bass. I think it's a underrated instrument. It's a really weird instrument to play because you get off stage and people are like, "I love how the guitar part's like this," and it's actually your part because usually you're playing the part, the chord structure that people usually know. So it's kind of a weird, kind of an understated instrument. I don't even think most people that don't play music really know what it's doing besides making a low sound. They're like, oh, it's the part that's the booming low part, but it's a weird instrument because you're playing melody, but it's also percussive, and it's kind of like somewhere it's the bridge between the drums and the other melodic parts. And I love it. It was a great time playing it, but the long story short is I became a singer because it's singers have bad personalities. Yeah, right. I don't think it's a secret that usually it's a difficult personality in the band. So I think we were just like, well, I can do it, so I'll do it. And it's easier to find another bass player than a singer that you can kind of get along with. So I did it sort of out of necessity, but I love singing, and it's a totally different thing. Your body is the instrument. It's a totally different relationship with the crowd. Literally the front person. So yeah, it was a big difference for an instrument that's sort of a supporting instrument that people vaguely don't even know how it works or its role in the band to being right up front. But I do miss it sometimes because playing a physical instrument is rewarding as well. But no, yeah, I never played the bass in this band, but I have written many of the bass lines for the band. So,
Okay. So I know there was distinctive bass guitar on some of your older material before.
Yeah, we had a bass player named Dennis, and he was one of the original members of the band, and he was played bass, and he was he was a creative bass player, but we had different ideas about what we wanted to do, and then that actually changed us to using electronic bass, which I think changed the sound a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's nothing was by design. right? Just sort of happened, and here we are. And I don't think we would ever have a bass player again. And just because I think it's become part of our sound not to have one.
Yeah, there's still enough openness in what you do, and I think if anything, looking at specifically like the EP, the narrowed EP, and then into your few albums since then, there's more. It's a broader structure in any of the songs since then, so it makes perfect sense to me. Keeping what you've done.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to have shunned the instrument that is the instrument I play.
Yeah.
But
maybe that was the freeing that you needed.
yeah, maybe the ghost of the bass was over me. I don't know. No, I don't know. I love the bass, but for whatever way it worked out, it's become part of our sound, not having the organic bass. Maybe I'll go back to it. We can be like Rush, So yeah, we'll get that vibe. I'll sort of Geddy Lee. I'll change my style up.
At least don't change your singing like that. I don't know how becoming that would be.
Hey, we got time, right? So I'll just. I don't know. Maybe I'll surprise you guys. I'll get some sci-fi lyrics going on this great show that Larry recommends.
Yeah, after you watch The Expanse, you're gonna write prog epics.
I know. I'm looking forward to this sci-fi prog
Let's watch
masterpiece that is in all of you.
Well, I think it's going to be
the whole time.
Well, I think it's going to be awesome because like we could do the Rush relationship. The drummer, Pert wrote lyrics, right? Larry. My hair's getting long.
Yeah,
You're on your way. Yeah, that's the next album. It's about what did you say that it's like between Mars and the universe, some static electricity going on, Larry? What was happening? I don't know. I'll leave it to him.
The storyline? You want me to explain the storyline again?
Alex, no.
We'll talk after.
Yes, I do. Larry, I do want you to explain the storyline, but over a triple LP record. Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, triple gatefolded,
Yeah.
140-minute album.
Yeah, I'm ready. Start working on
or any Voivod record.
That's right. I'm working on my falsetto here. Yeah.
There'll be a lot more theremin, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that sounds like fun. In terms of actual records that exist today or will exist soon, you guys, you mentioned it earlier, you completed recording your album with Jason Corbett before all of this chaos, and you've just released the first single, Traveling Light, from your new album, Thin Skies. For one, it's a great song. It's a great video that you've got to accompany it. Thank you for that. How has it been for you, for one, to release and see the reaction, but also, I always wonder, what is it like to sit on an entire album and just have like this sliver of it and have people, interact with that one part of something that is a whole for you?
It's weird. I don't know. I think, yeah. I mean, it's weird to, it's strange because you work on something for a long time in private, and then you put it out there, and then you wonder what people will think of it, but you only do 3 minutes. So who knows? The rest of the album could be like a dubstep album. People are like, that's not really what the single showed us, but you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, it's always a weird process. I think I don't know. I'm on the other side of it, so I always feel like people are like, oh, there's more, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard it. It's like it's like I don't know. You're just putting a preview out for a movie or something. People are like, I wonder how it's going to end. You're like, I know. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of competing things for people's attention. So I think this is kind of the way it's always been done. So that by the time it comes out, enough people know about it. that can get to it. So
Yeah.
that's
I get that things have to develop a sort of inertia, but I've always been curious about that process because I've never been in a band that made it to the point of releasing singles. Like that's exciting. That's a good thing. I realize that sounds like mocking it, but I'm not at all. Just that's a step up.
It's even weird that people say singles. That seems something very antiquated.
I mean, I don't know. I'm living in 1992.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the same. It's I feel like when people are talking about releasing singles, I feel like I'm in a Mad Men room and they're like, okay, the first single's coming. It's like, wow, this is something we still do, but I guess it is.
Like pie charts and graphs. Yeah, it is it's especially weird because like for us, I mean, we wrote this album well over a year and a half ago. And so we have known the songs, we know the whole album for a long time now, and the album's not even out yet, and we're already writing the next one.
Yeah.
So, it's like we're already moving on, and this one's hasn't even been unleashed yet. So
yeah, like Garrett said, I mean, it's weird because it's not new for us at all. It was done a year ago, so
it's like when somebody compliments your new outfit or your dress or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, this old thing."
It'd be like looking at a picture of you a year ago and be like, "Wow, you look great."
You look great.
Not anymore, Yeah, it's a weird thing, but I mean, I don't know. I think music, like movies or great TV shows on the Science Fiction Network called Expanse, started in 2015. We don't get any money for that. Great products of that nature.
Do they put songs in the credits?
Oh, that would be cool.
Maybe we can get a placement. Like,
I think you bought a placement.
Yeah, it's time.
I like the way you
so. I mean, this is your first album on a new label. Maybe by the second one, you can leverage this and be like, okay, it's time that you get me on some soundtracks, specifically sci-fi films.
Sci-fi season.
Yeah, actually, just one show. Actually, we don't.
Just the Expanse.
Yeah, Allie's looking for that Bud Light endorsement.
We need to make it clear. This is not officially, but officially sponsored by Bud Light.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
The needs of the Gorman household.
Right. I don't know how this started, but I think we're the only post-punk band actively seeking an association with Bud Light. I'm pretty sure, like, if that, I think that's yeah.
Yeah. What do you think that the beer of post-punk in general is, and why are you forging such a different path?
What do I? Well,
what would the beer of post-punk be?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're the only one doing the Bud Light round, we need to know what everybody else is doing, following that trend.
Yaver.
What beer looks like his can has been unchanged since 1989?
Oh God. I don't know.
Old Milwaukee? I don't know.
Old Milwaukee.
Pabst?
No, Pabst had this big
Pabst?
rebranding like in the mid-2000s. Yeah.
What have I
Yeah.
know? Miller?
The official.
I think Miller Genuine Draft.
Yeah.
Larry, weigh in on this one as the biggest beer drinker in the band. As the biggest beer drinker in the band, what would
has remained unchanged since the 80s.
No. What would be if post-punk were a beer? What beer would it be, Larry?
Think very carefully.
That's gonna take me a couple hours.
Okay.
Tough one.
And Larry, when you get the answer, whatever we're talking about, just scream it out. Okay, so. Don't.
I feel like it'd be like a lukewarm Tecate.
I feel like it's gonna be rinsed right.
I think it's
Yeah.
lukewarm
I think rinsed
Tecate.
right.
Because
Lukewarm
all of the
Tecate
kids
is
at-
post-punk?
I'm sorry?
Lukewarm Tecate is post-punk?
Yeah, it's a completely unchanged thing, and every time I've gone out, to the goth club in my life, I feel like there's always people leaving their half-empty Tecates that they got and forgot because they're dancing.
Guilty.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's Barrett.
Guilty.
yeah. No, it's like the empty soldiers, or not even empty. The half full beer, getting warm. Nobody touches it because you don't know where that came from. That's it.
I like Tecate.
I'm not disparaging it. It's just
It's not a bad
when
beer.
when you're having a night, you're leaving part of your beer behind.
Barrett, no one's attacking Tecate. Okay, just relax.
Listen, I just want
Relax.
I want to make sure that Tecate is not being slandered.
Well, it's not, so don't worry.
All right.
But
Star
Wars was.
What about Lowenbrow?
Larry's still thinking about it.
Yeah, Larry's really deep in thought. I'm sorry if
It's
he's not
Miller
able to
time.
drum on your next album
There you
because
go.
of this.
No,
What is
scream
it?
it, scream.
You got it.
What is it?
Tell us,
Good. It's Miller time.
Miller.
It's Miller time.
It's Miller time.
That's the slogan.
Specifically the catchphrase.
Miller Lite, or is it?
I don't know.
There's a lot of Millers.
I think that that's the best answer. It's Miller time.
Oh god,
The drink of both.
it's Miller time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And
Better than Hammer Time.
I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
Better than Hammer Time.
Is it though?
Yeah, because Hammer Time, everybody has to stop and take note.
Yeah.
It's Miller
Yeah.
Time. It's so catchy.
Yeah.
Hammer Time's kind of post-punk. Think about it. You have to stop and
It feels like a threat, though.
post-punk is very threatening.
I don't know. I think post-punk is like the least threatening genre there is.
So we've answered the question of the most post-punk beer is MC Hammer.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's too legit.
God. Well, I think we just. Oh boy.
What could we
We're
possibly
reliving our
follow that up with?
Yeah. With that, I feel I don't have a whole lot of other great questions for you. I don't think we can get better than post-punk being It's Miller Time MC Hammer. If there's any other wisdom that you need to divulge, I'm open to it, and if not, I will free you from this obligation.
well, let me ask. Yeah, I think that question answers itself. We have no wisdom, as we've clearly displayed over an hour and 17 minutes. So, except
Thank you for
killer sci-fi channel binge review. I think
Yes.
I think Larry saved the day.
Gonna watch it.
Larry said.
I have a final question. though.
You've got a question.
I have a final question. Yeah. What? You're all creative people. Have you taken on any other creative endeavors while you've been trapped inside, other than music? Like you learning any languages,
No pressure.
reading any books? I mean, what's been going on? What are y'all doing?
Yes, I've been learning to speak Swedish.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Say something in Swedish.
Jag lär mig svenska.
What does
thank
that
you.
mean?
I'm learning Swedish.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So my family lives in Sweden, so I thought I should learn to speak Swedish.
Will you write songs in Swedish? Have you thought about doing that lyrically?
I respect the language too much.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that. I mean, who knows? I'm still I'm still like the equivalent of a 4-year-old. So I think that's a long way off. But no, but yeah. So I tried to do that. Yep, that's my creative endeavor.
I've been trying to improve my Photoshop skills.
I've watched 90 Day Fiance.
Ooh.
Yeah, we did that too.
Fantastic show. Yeah. Don't let people tell you it's not good. It's great.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I watched that NBA documentary.
Oh, the Michael Jordan thing.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The Last Dance. I also watched that. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Allie, Larry, what about you two?
He watched The Expanse.
I was right, The Expanse.
Well, yeah, but the funny thing is we call it stupid smart or vice versa, smart stupid. We'll watch an episode of The Expanse and then an episode of 90 Day Fiance.
Ooh.
So that's
Okay, so
just to balance it out.
Of course.
you're keeping yourself enriched and making the cliffhangers last a little longer. That's brilliant.
Right. Usually we do smart and stupid because by the end of smart, by the end of The Expanse, your brain is so like used and fried that you're like, okay, now just give me something easy to digest, and we watch 90 Day Fiance.
I love it.
Do you ever watch it at the same time? Yeah, like it.
Oh,
should.
man. I don't know if it's physically possible.
Oh, it's possible.
Wizard of Oz with Pink
Like you
Floyd.
can't, like you can't like sneeze and burp at the same time or something.
That sounds like a challenge.
Or maybe you can. I don't know.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for wearing that shirt.
Thank you. This is the first time I've worn it. I got it as a birthday gift for myself last month, and it was at the top of the drawer, and I had to wear it. So
It's a good one. It's a good one.
yeah, I didn't even put that together. That you are also obsessed with Nine Inch Nails. Like,
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
My shirt.
yeah, no, she's got a great shirt. Her shirt is what we should all be focusing on. The Dracula for president.
I vote for him.
Yeah. A few people put together that Barrett enjoys Nine Inch Nails. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody knows. No, I had an earlier interview, and it was a friend of mine who's also a very big fan, and so I was like, oh yeah, he'll love this shirt. And I didn't even think that I was.
Who also was talking about like sci-fi stuff because the UFO.
Yeah. No, we were talking about. He was a UFO contactee, so he was telling us about
He's
his
an
paranormal
actual
experiences.
sci-fi person.
Yeah, so
Synchronicity. It's all about synchronicity.
you know, he's
It's
been
a great album.
it's all about the space between Mars and Earth.
and the static in between. Well,
Get into it.
thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here, and I hope to see you in the real world soon.
You too.
Thank you.
I love you both.
Thank you.
We love you
Love
too.
you.
All right.
Blue
Take care,
Monday.
Blue Monday. I know. I wish I had that queued up to play now. Thanks. See you later, Barrett.
Let it.
All right. Thank you, friends, for joining us here today. That was Bootblacks, a fantastic post-punk band from here in Brooklyn. Seen them live many times, enjoyed their records, many more. This is Autumn.
Hi.
She
Just
is-
sweating my brains
Yeah,
out.
we are sweating to death here in hot, humid Brooklyn. I'm Ben. Black Metal and Brews has been my baby for 8 years now. Not on YouTube the whole time, just 6 years on YouTube. Thank you for sitting with us.
Enjoy Expanse.
Yeah, enjoy The Expanse. It's a sci-fi show about planets and colonizing the universe or something. When Larry speaks, you listen because he doesn't seem to be a terribly outspoken person otherwise. So it must be good if it got him to speak up. Thank you guys for being here. I've got another great episode planned on Tuesday in which I'm going to have a hot sauce and vegan chicken nugget eating competition with my guest. So that's going to be
Who's your
a
guest?
delight. My dear friend David Filstra, who's a multi-instrumentalist, label host, and
Chicken nugget enthusiast.
I think he's going to make some vegan cauliflower wings. But he's a hot sauce enthusiast and a vegan. And when those two collide, you end up having a cauliflower wing hot sauce contest. He's a fantastic musician, so that's going to be a blast. And maybe I'll have some writing for you soon. I'm interviewing a band via email over the weekend, and as soon as I get the responses back, I'll have those posted on the website. So you already know where to find me. Everything is in the description of this video below. One of these days, I'm going to interview you proper on this channel, and you're going to have to actually deal with me from the other end. I'll make you go to the other room with your own computer
Oh, thank God. Yeah,
to answer. But thank you guys for being here. You can subscribe to my channel if you want. It doesn't do any favors for me. I don't make money off this, but it'll let you know when I'm live again. So if you're into that, like and subscribe. But, we're not in that very capitalist mindset here.
You should do like a veggie dog eating contest with somebody.
A veggie dog? I don't know where to get a veggie dog right now. There's a pandemic on. Like, it's...
somebody's got them.
If you're watching this and you want to send me a veggie dog through something, talk to me.
Illicit mail.
But yeah, there was a really good veggie dog we had at a restaurant before this all began. The last time we were out, that had like papaya on it. If you can get me that, I'll eat the dog instead of paying attention to my guest.
No, you both have to. It's like a veggie dog contest. You just eat as many veggie dogs as possible.
I'll get sick and I'll lose.
That's a good show.
It's a great show. Thank you guys for sitting through an hour and a half of me and my bullshit. Love to you all. Have a great Friday and an even better weekend. Cheers.